Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome to episode 38 of the Mindful Knitter podcast. My name is Claire and I am your host. If you are new, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. And if you're returning, welcome back. It has been a couple months since my last podcast, but things might be, fingers crossed, a little bit more consistent this year. I will share a little bit more with you about that in a moment. If you are new, this is a podcast that is primarily about yarn, just all of the yarn things. The channel is called The Mindful Knitter just because I was primarily a knitter when I started the channel, but I do a lot more than just knitting now, especially. I do a lot of crochet, I still knit more than I crochet, but I have some crochet projects to share with you guys today, including a sweater. And I also spin yarn. I will be talking to you a little bit about my handspun yarn today as well. I've been spinning for a couple of years now, and I am just completely in love with it. And you may have heard a lot of people talking about it, as I think it's becoming more popular, but for good reason. Spinning yarn is amazing. So welcome. I'm coming to you from the southeast of the United States. And it is a little chilly. We got that whole Arctic blast thing that kind of came over the continent. So it's been a little chilly here. It's been in the teens a lot the past week. I think right now it's in the 20s Fahrenheit outside. So not quite as cold, but it's still cold outside. We didn't really get snow exactly where I am. But just 20 minutes away they got snow, so of course. Of course. So kind of the format of the podcast episodes is sharing finished objects, works in progress, upcoming projects, and any other little doodads, like hand spun yarn or chatting about yarny things. Maybe sharing some about books that I got. I do have a book that I want to share with you guys today. It is yarn related. It's a crochet book. And I thought I had some other books around here, but I don't know where they went. I ordered several of the Pom Pom magazine issues because Pom Pom is leaving us, which is very sad. I think that we're all in mourning. So I do have a few issues of Pom Pom, and I was actually going to talk about them, but I can't find them. I've put them somewhere in my house because I've read them now multiple times, and I don't know where they are, but maybe I'll do that in another episode. So I'm a little disjointed. It has been 2 months since I last podcast. And I guess I'll just go ahead and share with you guys what was kind of keeping me away last year and why this year I will probably go back to being more consistent again. The big thing for last year was, a lot of you know that I was working on my doctorate. I've been working on my doctorate for years because doctorates take a long time. And I have officially successfully defended my dissertation. I have completed all requirements for my doctoral degree. So I am done. I say done, kind of done, with an asterisk, because after defending the dissertation and it's approved, then there's a publication editing process, but that really doesn't take very long. So I am still doing some work, but it is not very much work. It's just doing little nitpicky tweaking of editing so that the format is not just that the document is very polished, but also so the format is basically up to the standard of where it will be published, because they have a format that they want to use. So that's what's happening right now. Hooray! One of my friends got me this very cute little mug which I thought that I would show you guys because this is an alpaca. So isn't that cute? I don't know where he got it from, but it's very cute. So yes, I am now Dr. the Mindful Knitter. Or Dr. Mindful Knitter? Dr. Claire Knitter? I don't know. That's what it keeps coming up on in Zoom when I'm doing Zoom meetings, because I've changed my last name to knitter for our online knit nights. So it said Claire Knitter during my defense meeting because I hadn't changed my last name on Zoom. So, oh well. Fortunately, my dissertation committee just thought it was really funny. Nobody caught it until like the very, very end when we were kind of like wrapping up. So that's all right. So yay, hooray. I don't have any more schoolwork to do. And I'm kind of just moving forward with career things now that I have completed the doctorate. So that's really exciting. Graduation won't be until May because they do commencement once a year. So I will, I'll be doing graduation in May, but I've finished now. So yay, Dr. Me. My husband calls me, his like pet name, I guess, for me is Squirrel. So he's been calling me Dr. Squirrel, which I think is funny and kind of cute. The other thing that was kind of keeping me away a bit last year was just like health related stuff. And I promise we are going to talk about yarn in just a moment, but I just wanted to let you guys know why I've been kind of absent the last year. I think I only posted 13 or 14 videos all of 2023. So that my content went way down. And a lot of that was also health related. I was working on my dissertation. That was taking a lot of my brain power and my time, but I didn't really actually realize that I was pretty sick. And it's one of those things where it's just kind of sneaky because it kind of builds up over several years and you don't really notice. And I was struggling. I was really struggling last year, and I didn't even really realize how much I was struggling. And then I finally got all of my lab work done around November of 2023, and got all of those, those test results and things. So, and I did my follow-up appointment on it, and we talked about a lot. Yeah, so there's a lot going on. Yeah, the brain fog and the lethargy and the just general, just not being able to think clearly or communicate coherently, all that kind of stuff really impacted my ability to make content because everything seemed daunting, and then also it was just very difficult to think clearly and then communicate my thoughts. So I'll just very briefly, it's some autoimmune stuff. And then my thyroid is not really working great. It is under functioning. So in December, we started a whole treatment thing, which I've now been doing for about a month. And I cannot believe how much better I feel. It's kind of incredible. I didn't realize how unwell I was until I started to feel relatively normal again. So I'm really, really grateful for the healthcare provider that I'm working with. She's really wonderful and she's thorough, and I'm taking a lot of meds every day. Most of them are non-pharmaceutical though, which I enjoy. And then I'm doing like a dietary, if you're familiar with the autoimmune protocol, it's a pretty strict dietary thing that you just do for a few months, just to kind of like help the body be less inflamed. And I think that it's working pretty well. I can think a whole lot more clearly. I've got a lot more energy. We've started treating the thyroid things, so I think that that's all going in the correct direction. So yeah, hopefully I will be able to do a lot more content for you guys this year. I am really hoping that I can, because I'm feeling a lot more motivated and creative again, and I can think and speak a little bit more coherently than I was able to last year, which is nice. That was really nice when I was defending my dissertation, because I had to talk for like an hour presenting all of my research and everything. So it's nice to be able to think clearly again. So that's where I've been. That's what I was up to 2023. I was just struggling a little bit, and I was busy. But this year I'm very excited to hopefully be back to you full swing. I have a whole lot of ideas for content around not just knitting and crocheting, but also spinning. Yeah, and doing more videos that I already do, like shop yarn tours and sometimes like travel vlogs in addition to the podcast. But I think I'd like to do some more other kind of videos too, like maybe talking about yarny books, or talking about spinning and hand spun, talking about fiber animals, getting maybe more into like the mindfulness and the meditation and that sort of aspect of crafting. We'll just see. But we're about 10 minutes in and I haven't even talked about my yarn yet. So let's talk about the yarn. First finished object to share with you guys today is what I am wearing. I am so happy to be sharing this with you guys because this is my very first hand spun sweater. I did spin this yarn myself, and I did spin it with the intention of knitting it into a sweater. I spun this during Tour de Fleece last year in 2023. This was it's 2 4-ounce braids of this gold and coral, and then 1 4-ounce braid of this kind of aqua and coral. And it is a merino and silk blend that I got from Jakira Farms on Etsy. And it's completely beautiful. It's spun up to about a DK light worsted kind of weight. And I knew when I was spinning it that I wanted to do a yoked sweater because I wanted to have this aqua and coral be kind of like the color work of a yoke, and then do the rest of it in my beautiful gold and coral. I did all of my edging in a yarn that I hand dyed. Oh, that could be future videos too. I dye yarn. That started in the past year, but I have been doing a lot of natural dyeing. So get a little closer so I can show you. The sweater is a little fuzzy because I have worn it many times now. I got it done in time for Christmas so that this could be my holiday sweater, but I wore it to the Nutcracker. I wore it on Christmas Eve with my niece and nephew. I wore it, I've worn it to work several times. I've worn this several times. So this kind of like nudie, dusty pink is from Avocados. And this is a non-superwash merino wool. So I used it for the edges and the cuffs. It's fuzzy and I need to stop picking the pills. This is a folded hem at the bottom. But yeah, I did it for the edges because I wanted all of these to stay kind of the size that I knit them. I didn't really want them to stretch out. I didn't want my neckband to really stretch out. So I just did it with the non-superwash so that it would stay, because I figured that the silk and merino blend would probably grow a little bit. So I didn't want all of these little like finished edges to grow a whole lot with the rest of it. So that is why I chose to do a non-superwash on the edges, like the cuffs and the things, while the rest of it was not necessarily non-superwash. I don't think the fiber specified whether the merino was superwash, but I don't think that it was. But I don't know. It's really hard to tell. It didn't really feel superwashed as I was spinning it, and you can usually, at least I have found that I can kind of tell if the fiber that I'm spinning with is superwash treated or not, because it leaves like, it almost leaves like a residue on my fingers. It's very subtle, but it does leave something on my fingers, and everything is just slightly toothier, I guess. It's almost tacky, but not tacky, and again, in an exceedingly subtle way. I didn't really experience any of that while I was spinning this fiber. There was a pretty significant amount of silk in it though. I think it was either 30 or 40% silk. So it could just be that the silk content was kind of covering over any superwash properties. I don't really know, but I do know that silk can grow when you block it and when you wear it. So I figured that this was probably going to grow a little bit when I blocked it, and I was fine with that, but I did want all of these things to stay nice and neat. I didn't want this to grow a whole lot. The hem is still flaring a little, so it's possible that at some point in the sweater's life, I will rip this back, decrease the number of stitches for the hem, and redo the hem. Or maybe I will do an I-cord bind off for the hem. I'm not sure. I did do an I-cord bind off for the cuffs, which I think looks very neat. And I was very happy with the way that I did. This is so fuzzy. I was really happy though with the way that I did the I-cord. I love this little like swoopy tucky kind of thing it's doing. I haven't really seen that. Usually I think when we're doing like an I-cord, we want it to all seamlessly kind of just kind of attach. We want it to be seamless all the way around. But I really liked this. Like I thought it was a really cute, I thought it looked really cute. You see that? Yeah, you can kind of see it. I thought it was cute. And I did it on purpose. And the only thing that I did, I'm trying to remember since this was about a month ago that I finished this. I think all that I did was I just started my I-cord rather than like casting on any extra stitches for the I-cord bind off. I just started the I-cord like right away. And then when I got to here, I think that this was a 4-stitch I-cord. And so I think that I did when I got to the last 4 stitches, I just did the I-cord and then went down to 3 stitches. And then I think I might have even gone down to 2 so that it created this little like, decreasing. And so it just looks like a little like tuck. I don't think it's showing up great on camera, but it creates a little gather right there too. That's, I just think really cute. So in any case, I haven't said what the pattern name is for this sweater. So let's see if I can find it. Actually, this was the one thing that I didn't look up before I started filming. Let's see if I can find it though. Perfect, I did find it. This pattern though is no longer available online. So I downloaded this. It was a free pattern by Espace Tricot on Ravelry, and I downloaded it over a year ago. So it's been in my Ravelry library for over a year. I say it's no longer available. Oh, it might be available now, but it might be a paid for pattern. Okay, interesting. You might be able to get this pattern again. It looks like it's possible that they took it down for a while to make it into a paid for pattern, and now it's available as a paid for pattern because it's showing up on Ravelry now and it has a price on it. So hooray, you can get this pattern again. So this is the, I cannot pronounce this, Mousseux. I don't speak French. This is the Mousseux sweater by Espace Tricot. And I did modify pretty heavily. So it's knit with a US 7 and a US 8, 4.5 and 5 millimeter needles. I did modify quite a bit. For this sweater, I did size number 1. I usually would knit like a size number 3 for most patterns, but this is so oversized that a size 1 was actually the measurements that I would want for normally knitting like a size 3 of something. It is very oversized, but I think that that's because they used lace weight yarn, like lace held double for this, and it was a very light, airy kind of pattern. Like this is the original on the model. So you can kind of see that it is a very light, airy, oversized kind of sweater. Yeah, but I modified things. So I did a folded hem. I also didn't do as many decreases as it called for because it does kind of like pull in and create kind of like a balloon or like a dumpling kind of shape. on the original, and I didn't really want that. I wanted it to be more straight, so it is a little flared. I wanted it to be a straighter kind of silhouette than what it is, but it's not so flared that it bothers me tons. If it ends up bothering me at some point, I'll just, again, rip out the hem and just redo it. So I did a folded hem instead. I already talked about how I changed this. I didn't do an I-cord collar. I did a crocheted, like a single crocheted collar, because I really wanted this to stay open. I don't like collars that come up right around my neck. I'll talk about that a little bit more later with my crocheted sweater. But I wanted this to stay kind of open, and I liked this shape, so I just did, I think 2 rounds of single crochet on the neck to create the neckline that I wanted. I made this a whole lot shorter because I wanted it cropped. I think those were most of the modifications. I think the only other modification truly that I had was that I didn't switch needle sizes. It has you start with your smaller needle size here to kind of like bring in all of these little stitches around the top of your yoke, and then you use your larger needle size for the rest of it. It may have you size down the needle for the I-cords, I'm not sure. But in any case, I just kept the same needle size the whole time. And it worked okay. I can tell that there's more space around my stitches here, but it's not the end of the world and it doesn't really bother me. So that was the pattern that I used. All of the information, by the way, all pattern information, designers, yarn information will be shared in the description down below the video. So if you do have any questions about any of that, or you want more information on it, just click on I think it's more, I can't remember what YouTube has it as now, but you can click on something around the title of the video and it'll drop down and give you the description of the video. And I have all of the information for patterns and things in that description. I also have all my contact information on there. So email, Instagram, Ravelry, that kind of thing. If you're curious, you can find me more often on Instagram than on Ravelry. And on Instagram, I am the.mindfulknitter. Back to the sweater. So this is my very first hand spun sweater. I am exceedingly pleased. Oh, another thing I did change about this was the sleeves. I did just straight sleeves down and then did a rapid decrease to get a nice kind of just gathered sleeve. I didn't want big balloon sleeves, but I did want a little bit of a poofy gather just right there. And I did kind of like bracelet length the sleeves because sometimes I like sleeves that like come down a lot. They're very cozy, but they also kind of get in my way. So especially when I'm crafting, when I am knitting or crocheting, I really don't like to have sleeves right on my wrists. I like a little space here so that everything's out of my way and my hands are free and clear to work with the yarn however I wish. So I did bracelet length sleeves on this, and I think it's very, very cute. I could wear this with high-waisted pants or jeans, but I typically wear it with long dresses. I wear long dresses a lot, so I'm wearing one right now. So as you can see, and this is how I tend to wear my cropped sweaters. And I actually like wearing long dresses quite a bit. So that's one of the reasons why most of the sweaters that I make are cropped, because I know I'm going to be wearing them with a long dress or a long skirt, usually a dress because skirts are more work. So I just knit them cropped, or I crochet them cropped. Trying to think if there's anything else to say about this. It's very pilly, mostly because of the silk, but I will use my depiller. I have one of the electric little sweater shavers, and I will depill this because it has gotten very pilly. But let me see if I can show you a little closer up so you can see the texture and the colors. I'm really a gigantic fan of this sweater. It's incredibly comfortable. It breathes nicely. Yeah, and it's just absolutely perfect. It's just what I wanted. So for my very first hand knit, excuse me. For my very first hand knit hand spun garment, I feel like this is a success. I used all of the skein of the aqua and coral. I just knit the yoke until I ran out. And then I just switched to the gold and the coral. And I actually do have a little bit of the gold and coral left. I did not end up using all 3 braids for this sweater. So that'll go into another project and be very special. So I could have done all of my hems and everything in this gold and coral color, but again, I kind of wanted it to be in the non-superwash, so it stay kind of neat. And I just like that little subtle contrast. There's a bug on the ceiling and it's making noise. I think that might be all I have to say about this one, but I'm really excited about it. I don't really know if I could be more pleased with it. Maybe if this didn't flare out, but that's very minor. So let's talk about another sweater. So this sweater, I just completed a couple weeks ago. This is super cropped. But again, like, I wear these with long dresses a lot, so it actually works really well. And I have a pretty short torso. So this hits right at my natural waist. I have a short torso and I'm very high-waisted. I am very high-waisted. High-waisted jeans still normally don't come, like even the super high-waisted jeans normally don't come all the way to my natural waist. They still hit below it. My natural waist is like right up here. So, yeah, which actually like on camera is not, okay, you're losing the effect because I'm sitting down, but I'm very high-waisted. So this actually, even though this looks extremely cropped, it hits right at my natural waist, which is kind of nice for dresses. Even so, I'm still considering adding just a tiny bit to the hem so that it comes down a little bit more, just for like ease, maybe ease of wear, because I find that when I'm wearing it, I do pull it down every once in a while, but that's not a big deal. So this sweater also has not been blocked. So I have been wearing it unblocked, but it's been working just fine. The sweater itself, the pattern is a very heavily modified version of the Arts sweater by We Are Knitters. I've knit a few different versions of this sweater now, and yeah, the very first one I stayed true to pattern, and every one after that's been very heavily modified. And this one was very heavily modified. It is very cropped. I did a 2x1 ribbed hem instead of the hem that is called for in the pattern. I did 3/4 length sleeves, and I did some short row shaping in the front to create a little bit of a very subtle scoop so that this is not like a straight across boat neckline, but it just has a very, very subtle scoop right there so that it's not right up on my neck, because I don't like things right up on my neck. Possibly because my thyroid is like right here, and having things pressing against my thyroid is probably not very comfortable for me. I don't know, but I feel like I'm choking and I'm gonna die. So I don't like things around my neck. So those I think are all of the major modifications that I made to this. The yarn that I used isn't it gorgeous? I adore this yarn. This is a bulky, it's either like a super chunky or it's a bulky weight yarn. Maybe it's chunky. Let's say this is chunky. By Nanette Wake Studio on Etsy. I got the last ones of this, so I'm sorry, you guys, but I bought all that she had left. The colorway is, I want to say Pirouette. I think the colorway was Pirouette. It's a ballet term. I'm pretty sure it was Pirouette. Which is the English way of saying a French word. Yeah, I just adore this. It is so cozy. It being very cropped and the 3/4 length sleeves make this extremely wearable, because this is a chunky yarn. And if I had done like a full sweater with full sleeves, I probably wouldn't be able to wear it tons. It would be way too warm. But because this has the 3/4 length sleeves that are also open, because you can see, like, I did pretty like open loose sleeves. And because it's so cropped, it just keeps my core nice and warm and cozy while still allowing my body to like air and breathe. So it's an astonishingly comfortable and wearable sweater. Again, I might add just a teeny tiny bit to the hem, but I want to block this first to see how it grows. If it just grows out, then I might add a little bit of length, but we'll see. And I might add just like a teeny tiny bit to the sleeves too. I do have some of the yarn left over. I actually only used 3 skeins and like a little bit. I have 4 skeins of this, but I only used 3 and a tiny bit. So I have almost a full skein still. And yeah, I think that it would be maybe nice to add just a tiny bit to the sleeves and a tiny bit to the hem. I knit this up in just a few days, so going back and modifying it a little bit doesn't bother me one bit. So yeah, that's this guy. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to tell you about him, but I don't think so. This is just a delightful sweater. When I was showing it to my friends, they were like, that's really cropped. And I was like, yeah, but my torso is really short. And even with jeans, I did actually try it with jeans, and it's very cute. You know, it hits me about right here, and my jeans hit me about like here maybe for my high-waisted jeans. So all I do is I just wear it like a neutral, kind of like a neutral gray. It's a heathered neutral gray tank top under that, and it looks so cute. So like the really cropped sweater thing actually is working very nicely. I guess not pleasantly surprised. It was gratifying because I was suspicious that it would probably work pretty well. But I'm really glad it did. It is more cropped than I originally planned because I was concerned I was going to run out of yarn, and I knit the body first. But then as I was doing the sleeves, I was like, I think I'm actually fine. I think I could have stood to knit this maybe an inch or 2 longer, but that's okay. It's very wearable the way that it is. And I have a couple little easy modifications if I decide to do them. Alrighty, so next finished object. I have several finished objects to share with you guys because again, it's been 2 months since I last podcast. I'm not sharing with you everything that I made since last time because I just have knit a lot. I've knit and crocheted a lot of things in the past couple of months, especially since I did a craft market in December. At the beginning of December, I did my very first craft market. I was selling hand spun and hand dyed yarn, as well as a lot of crocheted items, and then a couple of knit items, one of which I'll be sharing with you guys in a moment, but or in a few minutes. And it was wonderful, but I do have a list of my inventory for the craft market, but I'm not going to reference it right now because it'll just take up time, and we're already taking enough time talking about all these projects. But I think I made 30 or 40 items for that craft market. That was a lot. And then I made a lot of gifts. And then I think I'm sharing most of my projects with you that I did make for myself in December and November, and then the beginning of this month, January, but there might be a couple that I'm like missing. So I have made probably, I would say it's perfect. I feel like it's a conservative estimate or an accurate estimate, probably a pretty good estimate to say I have made about 30 things since the last podcast, but I am not sharing them all with you, partially because they were gifted or they got bought by people, or they are up in my inventory upstairs, and I'm not going to show you all of those things because we would be here forever. But I do think that I'm going to make a short video for you guys about the craft market because I did film a little bit for that, and I think that'd be fun to share my experience about my first craft market with you guys. Okay, so this next finished object. I made a bandana, and I haven't worn it yet because it's been sitting down here waiting for me to show you guys. Also, it's too cold. I've been wearing more substantial neck wear, but I think when on warmer days this will be great, and then early spring this will be great. This is the EasyPeasy bandana by Susanne Muller. Here's the pattern. Let me turn up the brightness so that it kind of helps with the ring light situation. So the EasyPeasy bandana. There it is. Very cute. This is written for DK weight. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It uses a US 6 needle, 4mm. And I did modify it. This is my bandana. Super, super fun. So I modified it and I messed up a little bit, but it's okay because the mess ups actually worked out fine. So one thing that I definitely modified was the edge. I can't remember what edge she has in the pattern, but I wanted a I-cord edge because I really, really like, I like I-cord edges around things. I think it looks so neat, and there's something very satisfying about it to me. I love the look of an I-cord edge. So I just did an I-cord edge all the way around. The Le Bandana, or Le Bandana, I can't say it in French, but anyway, Le Bandana by Amy of La Bien-Aimée. She has a beautiful I-cord edged bandana pattern that I will probably end up getting at some point. I think that she uses a sport weight yarn for that one, but I'll probably end up getting it at some point because it looks like it's just a really well knit or really well written pattern, and I think she's pretty trustworthy as a pattern designer. So this was kind of this is not a version of that. This is a different pattern. This is the EasyPeasy bandana, and I just added an I-cord to it. But what I did was I was trying to go until I was about 50 grams in to my skein of yarn at the middle, and then I would just go to the rest of it. Well, I took this with me on a trip and I didn't have a scale with me, so I realized that I couldn't tell what was half. And also I was like, oh, I think I can go a little more, like I want this to be a little bigger. I don't know. I just wasn't really thinking super clearly. This was also back when I was still having all of my brain fog. So I did run out of yarn and I had to pull another skein. This yarn is the Wandering Flock, and the colorway is Beach Party. I have some other Wandering Flock here, and one of the colors is in here. Beach Party. So it's a beautiful, like dune colored base with all of these gorgeous, gorgeous neon speckles. I ran out, but fortunately I had another skein in the alpaca sport weight. It's kind of like a sport fingering weight, in the same colorway in my stash as a mini. So I just added it on here. So the whole tip here is the alpaca sport weight that I held double. Yeah. Oh, actually I didn't hold it double. I held it with another skein that was like a cream colored, because holding it double was making the speckles way too dense. There were too many speckles, so then I held it double with like just like a neutral color from my stash. That was like a fingering weight. So yeah, this tip is a lot more speckled than the rest of it. This is the DK, just the Merino DK in Beach Party by Wandering Flock. And this is such a cute little bandana. It's really nice, I think, to tie it. I really like the look of tying the bandanas. And it's just so cute. I'm not able to style it well right now because I can't really see myself very well. But I think it's so cute. And it actually ended up being a really good size. I don't know if I've blocked this yet. I can't remember. It's laying pretty flat. The stitches all look pretty even and nice, so I'm suspecting that I did block it, but I can't be sure. So if I block it, it'll grow more, but I think I already blocked it because the I-cord is also laying pretty nicely. So I think I blocked it. But yeah, I love this. I love the look of like the bandanas where you've got them tied and then just kind of like you've got them a little off center. So I think this is such a cute little look. I could wear this with dresses. Could definitely wear it with sweaters. Could just wear it under a jacket. I think it's super wearable. I think it's very neutral because the neutral base and then these speckles just kind of go with a lot of stuff. Like even though they're bright neon speckles, because they are on this neutral base, I think that this ends up being a very wearable and neutral item. So, and it feels lovely. The Wandering Flock yarn is really buttery and beautiful and soft. So look at, I don't know if you can see all these little, look how beautiful these are. Actually, does the ring light make the color worse? I can't tell. Maybe not. Well, in any case. Yeah, so beautiful, beautiful speckles. We're turning, I think we'll turn this back on. Okay, I think it does help. The way my lighting is in here, I don't have a good corner. The light's behind me, which is not great. I wish that I had a better setup for this, but I just don't. And then I have fluorescent lights in the ceiling, which is so unhelpful. But we work with what we have. So this is my EasyPeasy bandana by, is it Helen Muller? Is that what I said? Or Helen Muller? Susanne. Oh gosh, Susanne Muller. And let's see. All right. Alrighty. This is this. So that's going to get some love and some wear. Everything is taking a whole lot longer to talk about than I thought that it was going to. Oh my goodness. So maybe I'll save the crochet book for next time when I have less projects to talk about with you guys. Okay, so next finished object to share. I actually just finished these last week. These are mittens and they are so cute. These are the Arched Gusset mittens by Purl Soho. Here we go. Yeah, free pattern. Arched Gusset mittens by Purl Soho. Super cute. I do love the arched gusset. I think that that's just a really aesthetically pleasing detail. It's very neat looking, but adds a little interest as well. Let's see the arched gussets. I just think this looks so nice. I love these. I did the adult. Did I do an adult small? I did the adult medium size. So this is the adult medium size. It calls for a worsted weight yarn. I did a DK held with a mohair. And I completely adore these. I think that they are the cutest. I love this color. I also did a slight modification. I did a 2x1 rib on the cuff just for like 3 rows because I didn't want this cuff to roll up. These are so warm, my hands are getting hot, which is great. This is exactly what my mittens are for. But I didn't want this cuff to like roll up at all. So I did a 2x1 rib around for just like 3 rounds. And I sized down my needle size just by 1 size for that rib so that it would stay nice and neat and stay down. I also modified a tiny bit with the length because I have pretty long fingers for my palm size or hand size, so I needed to add just a teeny tiny bit of length to the thumb and to the fingers, but that I just added a few more rounds. The yarn that I used for these was, this was a show colorway. The DK weight yarn was a show colorway for the Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival for 2023 by Oink Pigment Fibers. So I can't remember what the color was called, but it was the show colorway, so you can't get it now. But I do have quite a bit of it left. It's a bright white base with periwinkle and purple and this like hot pink. So I have a substantial amount of this left. This will probably get added into like a scrappy hat or like a color work hat or something like that. I really love this color. I think it is so pretty. And I held it double with this really beautiful light purple mohair from Knit Picks. I can't remember what colorway it's called, but I think it's their only light purple mohair at Knit Picks. I want to say maybe it was like Penny Royal, maybe, but I could be making that up. So yeah, I held these double and it gave me about a worsted weight gauge for my mittens, and I love these so much. I have worn them multiple times since I finished them last week because it's been really cold, and of course during one of the coldest weeks and weekends of the year we decided to go on an outdoor adventure, so I spent like 3 days outside and I wore these every single day. I've also worn them while driving to work, while running errands. These have gotten a lot of love in a short amount of time, and they will continue to get a lot of love. I love them. And I do have a mohair sensitivity, but it's a very slight mohair sensitivity. I've noticed that if I use mohair in my hats, I'm fine. I have hair protecting me. And if I use mohair for mittens, that's also fine because the skin on my hands is not nearly as sensitive as the skin around my neck and décolleté. When I've knit one shawl with mohair, held double with a fingering weight, and I can wear it and I can enjoy wearing it, but I can feel the mohair. It feels kind of scratchy, and if it starts getting warm, it starts to feel not just scratchy, but itchy. So I think I have a very slight mohair sensitivity. So I will not be doing mohair for shawls anymore, but for other accessories, and maybe even for sweaters or cardigans, it might not be an issue if I'm wearing like a shirt under them. The Wandering Flock mohair is very, very soft. So I do have a cardigan project in mind that I want to use the Wandering Flock mohair in, held double with like a singles fingering. I think that'll be okay because their mohair is very soft. It doesn't feel quite as soft as like a Suri lace, but it's close. So I think I can get away with it on a cardigan. I don't think that I can have it all up on my neck, like a shawl or a cowl, but I think it'll be okay for the cardigan. So I guess we'll find out. But these are my mittens. I love them. They're so warm. Even holding them in my hand, my hand is getting warm, which is why I wanted to use the mohair, try the mohair for that, because I have heard that mohair is very insulating. There's something about mohair where it just traps, I guess it traps the air really, really well, and just, yeah, it is very insulating. So I've got those. These are the other mittens that I'm wearing a lot. I originally made these for the craft market, but I'm really happy nobody bought them because I secretly wanted to keep them for myself. So I crocheted these. They're really, obviously they're very cute. I'll show them to you on. They've got some fuzz on them and stuff because I have worn them. These I made in Paton's Classic Worsted. Is that what it's called? It's the non-superwash worsted wool yarn from Paton's. And they have felted just a teeny tiny bit, like on, points of contact, which is great. It adds a little bit of extra insulation, and it also adds some sturdiness. So I don't mind at all that these have felted. They've only felted like on kind of like my paw pads. But yeah, I love these mittens. They are knit in a single crochet and a worsted weight yarn. and I added the embroidery, using inspiration from the Embroidery on Knits book published by Lina. Yeah, absolutely adore these. I cannot tell you the colorway name for this yellow color. I got it at Joann's. I love these mittens. The pattern is a free pattern on Ravelry. They are the Mrs. Murdock's mittens. Uses a 4mm crochet hook. And you can see all the different mittens. So cute. I absolutely love these. They take a long time to make. For me, these take just as long to crochet as a knitted pair of mittens. These might have actually taken me longer to make than these did, which is interesting because normally, I think typically crochet is faster than knitting for most people. It is definitely faster for me most of the time. So I was very surprised that these mittens took so long. These I knit in like 2 days, and I wasn't really working on them like constantly. I just kind of was picking them up here and there, and I knit these in 2 days. These took me like, I think like 3 days, and it felt like work. Like single crochet does take a while. It makes a very dense, warm fabric, but it does take longer because it's a very small stitch. And then of course the embroidery took a while. So I think the embroidery was another day. So 4 days to make these mittens versus 2 days to make these. I love both of them. And in the grand scheme of life, like 4 days to make these mittens is not a long time. But I was just surprised. I was anticipating that crocheted mittens would be a lot faster than knit mittens, but I was not right. These were faster, at least for me. I'm also very, very comfortable with DPNs, so knitting on DPNs for these was quick and easy. I feel like mittens are my new socks this winter. I haven't knit any socks in a while, but, well, I knit Alex some socks for his birthday, but yeah, mittens. I want to knit all the mittens right now, but I don't need 12 pairs. Doesn't matter if I don't need 12 pairs of mittens. What's life without whimsy? Okay. So those are my mittens. Now, finally, on to works in progress. So I've got 2 works in progress. No. Okay, last finished object. This is the last one, and then we'll do works in progress. This is also a pattern. So I have designed a few things while knitting in the last few years and crocheting. I have not published any of the things that I've designed. I have been trying to take notes so that I can work up the patterns so that they can be published. That's actually something that I really want to do this year, is I would like to publish some patterns. The first of which I am going to share with you guys. So this is what I am calling the Acorn hat. This was a pattern that I came up with when I was making hats for the craft market. I couldn't find a pattern that I really, really liked. And so I've knit a few hats now. I've never knit one at the super bulky gauge, but I just kind of played around with the yarn a few times, I frogged a few times, and then I knit a couple different versions of it until I finally came up with the version that I really liked. So this is the Acorn hat, and it knits up so fast. I knit this with the Lion brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick. Let me make sure I'm telling you that correctly. Yeah, Lion brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick, which is like a bulky weight yarn. And this knits up in like under 2 hours. At least by the time I had made a few of them, it knit up in under 2 hours. And it's thick and warm, but it's knit at a larger gauge. I think I have all of this in the pattern. I think that I knit this with the size a US 13 needle, so it doesn't make a super, super dense fabric. But with the large gauge and with the chunky yarn, this knits up real quick. And it's very modifiable, so you can make it, you can add some length to the to the body of the hat to make it a little bit, you know, floopier. I did actually end up adding like 1 or 2 more rows to the ribbing. So I like the ribbing just a little, I like the band a little bit thicker than what this is showing. But I did kind of like a rapid-ish decrease at the top. So it has this cute little like peak, which is where I got like the Acorn hat name from, because this looks like an acorn shape to me. I also have some modifications written into the pattern. So to make this right here is a 1x1 rib, but you can do like a seed stitch, and this can kind of look like, if you turn it this way with the seed stitch, it actually kind of looks like an acorn, because the texture on like the cap of an acorn. You can also, if you wanted, you could do a little I-cord tab up here, like you have a little stem. There are all sorts of cute ways to modify this hat. I've already had two friends that have tested it for me. They also found it to be very quick and easy to make. I'll put it on so you can see what it looks like on. So you can wear it kind of like back, and you still got like lots of room up here, or you can really like bring it down for a lot of like coziness. With the glasses, it's a little bit of a trick, but you've still got a little bit of room up here because of this little like peak. So it doesn't like fit to your head like super like snug, like a skull cap kind of look. Like it's, I think, very cute. And honestly, like every single person that I saw wear these at the craft market, I thought looked really cute in them. It just seems like it works with multiple like head shapes and hairstyles and face shapes. I don't know if that's because of like the bulky yarn or what, but it works pretty darn well. So now my hair is going to be full of nonsense, but that's okay. So this is going to be my first published pattern ever. The acorn hat, or did I call it the bulky acorn hat? I'll have to look. I have the pattern all written up. If you would like to test knit this for me, please let me know. You can email me. My email is in the description down below the video. It's clairethemindfulknitter@gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram or on Ravelry. My Instagram and Ravelry handles are also in the description down below the video. And yeah, you can send me your email. I'd be happy to email you the PDF for the pattern. And then I can send you a link to like a little survey so you can answer a couple questions about how your test knit went, to kind of help me make sure that the pattern is as good as I can make it. I think it'll probably end up being a free pattern on Ravelry just because this is my first published pattern. This is not a super complicated or involved hat to make or to design. My future patterns might be paid for because they're shawls and things that have quite a bit more effort put into them and took a lot more time. But this was honestly pretty quick and easy to do. I just did a few prototypes and then I kind of got it down and then I just wrote it all out. But I mean, I want to test knit just to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can to make this a very user-friendly pattern, and then a very wearable item. I, again, used the Line Brand's Wool Ease Thick and Quick for this, but I think it would be really cute for like stash busting and holding yarns double. It'd be great for hand spun, especially those like chunkier, like artsier kind of hand spun yarns that you don't really know what to do with. Something like this with a super simple stitch pattern would really let the yarn just kind of like do its thing. And this, one of these hats takes up less than half a skein of the Wool Ease Thick and Quick. So it doesn't use tons and tons of yarn. So that's really good for hand spun as well, because you might not have tons of it and you can't like replicate it all the time, especially for the chunky art yarns. So this could be a good project for that. I think it'd be really cute to hold like 2 or 3 strands of like a DK or a worsted weight together, and then like a Suri or a mohair with it, and do something that was just very, it didn't even have to be super scrappy. It could be kind of marled. It could all be in the same color family. I think there's so many fun options for a simple hat like this. You can even change the decreases at the top based on your preference. It does have that kind of classic like spiral or star at the top for the crown. But you can kind of play around with it and change it however you want, if you want more of a point or less of a point. So yeah, let me know if you want to test knit this for me. I will have probably a pretty quick turnaround. It only takes about 2 hours to make. So I would like to get this published on Ravelry at the beginning of February. So pretty quick turnaround time, but if a couple more people want to test this for me, that would be great. I'll try to set up like a test page for it, but if that doesn't happen, like if you could at least make a project page, that would be wonderful. So yeah, let me know if you want to test it. I'll also post this on Instagram for everybody. But yeah, this is my bulky acorn hat. I think that it is called the bulky acorn hat. And I just did different colorways of the Lion brand for this. Like whatever I had left over from my other hats, I just threw in here to make this really cute stripe that kind of goes with everything. This is a very neutral kind of striping situation, so this goes with everything. So yay, my very first pattern that I'll be publishing out for the world, and I'll have hopefully some more patterns coming out this year for you guys as well, probably shawls, but we'll see. I have one shawl design that I did a couple years ago at this point, and it combines crochet and knitting, and I'm very excited about that one. So that's going to be coming up pretty shortly, I think, and I'll need some testers for that shawl. It has some like very simple color work, and I think it's a pretty beginner friendly pattern for both knitters and crocheters, but it's got several different skills in it. So it's a fun shawl. It's really fun to put together. So I'll be sharing that with you guys in the future, hopefully in the near future. So whips. This is my granny go round jumper. This is a pattern by Iron Lamb. It's a pretty popular granny stitch sweater pattern. It's the Granny Go Round Jumper by Iron Lamb. Available on Ravelry. And I am having so much fun. It is very colorful. This is way more color play than I would normally do or wear, but I wanted to have a really fun, colorful granny stitch sweater. So here we are. I'll try to remember all of the colors for you, but I am not going to do a perfect job. So this periwinkle color is by La Jolla. It's spelled Jolla, so that should be La Jolla. And the colorway is periwinkle. It's just a fingering weight. These are all fingering weight held double. The Granny Go Round sweater or jumper is a DK weight jumper, and it uses a 4mm hook. And you'll notice that I am modifying things again. I have found that I don't love crocheting ribbing on garments. I like crocheting ribbing for things like headbands or ear warmers or like accessories like that, but I do not like knitting or crocheting ribbing on the edges of things. I don't know why. It's just not an enjoyable process for me. I've done it several times now, and I just don't like it. So I picked up stitches and I knit the ribbing for this, and I'll do that for the cuffs as well. This is a 2x1 rib for all of it, so at the bottom, and I'll do it on the cuffs as well. So anyway, this is periwinkle. This bright neon pink is by Biddy Knits. I don't think I have the tag. Oh, I do have the tag with me, actually. Nice. It's Sherbert by Biddy Knits. So yeah, that beautiful neon with the speckles is Sherbert. This gorgeous, gorgeous creamy green, minty green is Pistachio Cream by Wandering Flock. This kind of fuchsia-y, magenta-y color is One of a Kind colorway by Nanette Wake Studio. This orangey tweed, I do not know. I don't have the label for it. I got it from a D-stash, and I think it had the label on it when I got it, but the ball band has long since disappeared. And then this beautiful kind of lilac, or it's kind of a pink lavender. It's either a pink lavender or it's a lilac. It's kind of right in that family. This is a Malabrigo sock, and the colorway is, I think, Valentina. So actually, I did pretty awesome. I remembered all of the colors in this sweater. I've modified it, of course. I am doing the size, I can't remember if she does numbers or letter sizes, but I think it's letter sizes. So I'm doing the size large. I did the size large for the yoke, but then I did the size medium for the body. I needed the yoke to drop down more for the distance between my shoulders and my upper bust or underarm. So I did the large size for that, so that I would definitely have enough room, and I have like just enough room with the large yoke. But then we kind of increase a little bit under the underarms for some of the sizes, not for all the sizes. So I did the instructions for like the medium size for this instead of the large size, so that my body is right in between a medium and a large. Because of the way the stitches kind of work in the pattern, I would have had to decrease down again to get the actual medium body. So, but I didn't want the medium body. I did want this to be a very relaxed fit, but I didn't want as much ease as was in the large size for the body. So that's kind of what I did. I did a large yoke, only did the increase for the medium size, so that it gave me a body size that was right in between medium and large. And that's working really well. I've tried this on as I've gone, because it is a top down raglan crocheted top. You can see my raglan increases right here. So it is top down, which is great for trying it on as I go. And you will see that the crew neck, which is a little bit of a square crew neck, but I think maybe when it's blocked, it'll relax a little bit into more of a crew. It'll stay slightly squarish, but I think it'll turn into a crew-ish neck. It's high, so I did like a narrower band for my collar. I did crop this. It's not super cropped, so it does kind of come down to like my like the tops of my pants. I'm not going to wear this with dresses. I don't really anticipate ever wearing this with a dress. I anticipate wearing this with pants, either jeans or like black yoga pants or something like that. So I wanted it to come down more so that I felt very comfortable to wear it with a variety of styles of pants. So it is a little cropped, but it's just like kind of cropped. And then I don't think I'm really modifying the sleeves. It is a long sleeve sweater, so I've still got some sleeve to go, but I don't think I'm really modifying the sleeves at all, other than I'm just doing the knitted cuff rather than the crocheted ribbed cuff. This has been really enjoyable. I started this a week ago, and this is all that I've gotten done in the past week. I have been working on this quite a bit just because I'm really enjoying it. I love granny stitch. I don't know what it is. It's like the bubbly nature of the granny stitch is both satisfying and adorable. So I really like the granny stitch, and I think it's really fun in a sweater like this. You will notice that I don't have, so this bright pink is only every 2 repeats, because I only had like 40 grams of it. So I'm kind of being sparing with it. I'm alternating it with my like lilac kind of yarn. And then here at the bottom, I don't really have the bright pink or the periwinkle, because I'm almost out of the periwinkle and I need it for my cuffs. I went ahead and I did the collar and the hem so that I definitely wouldn't run out of yarn for those, but I don't think I have enough yarn to do any more repeats of the periwinkle on the sleeves. So I think the sleeves are gonna mostly look like this. I will have a little bit more of this pink, this bright pink in them because I still have a little left and I can just keep going with that till I run out. But I really need to make sure I've got enough of the periwinkle to do that last round of granny stitch and then the cuff at the end of my sleeves. So I just don't think I'm going to use any more of that on the sleeves. But that's okay. I think that that's perfectly fine to have like some more color interest here and then to have it a little bit more low contrast for, you know, the length of the body, the length of the sleeves. Like, I think that's a style, like that's very similar to this kind of style where you've got your color work yoke and the rest of it's all, you know, something else. So I don't think it'll end up looking weird. I think it'll end up looking just fine. So yeah, if you're ever doing projects like this and you're running out of yarns, the world is your oyster and you can scrappy project it however your heart desires or however the yarn yardage dictates that you need to. So yeah, this is my granny go round jumper and I'm really enjoying this. This is going to be really heavy. It's got about 600 grams of yarn in it, close to 700 grams of yarn in it. By the time this is done, this will be 600 or 700 grams. So it's dense, it weighs quite a bit, but I think it's going to be very cozy, which is what I wanted. I wanted something colorful and fun and cozy for the winter. And I think a granny stitch DK weight jumper, yeah, that's great for the winter time because I get cold. So yeah, definitely couldn't wear that in the summer, but in the winter, hooray. And those are all superwash merino wool yarns. So I think it'll block out really nicely and get very soft and have a nice drape to it, and hopefully will fluff up just a tiny bit. This is my second work in progress. I only have 2 whips right now in my life. I think because of the dissertation and because of the brain fog and maybe also because of all the gift knitting and the craft market making, I kind of became fairly monogamous. So I don't have tons of projects just going for myself right now. I've kind of reverted back to my like no more than 3 projects at a time kind of mode. This was my Christmas Day cast on and I absolutely adore this. Oh, I'm missing a needle. I borrowed the needle from this for something else, but only one of the needles. The other needle I've reattached. So I'll be careful with this so I don't drop any stitches. I adore this. This is very much a longer term project. This might take me all winter, but I don't care because it is so lovely. I am doing my first brioche shawl, and this just feels so luxurious. Oh my goodness, just oh my goodness. I wish I could spread it out for you a little more, but I don't want to lose any stitches off my needles. So this isn't it beautiful? I'm so happy with this. It was a really, really wonderful Christmas Day cast on. It felt like a Christmas Day cast on. Just very luxurious, but fun, but I don't know, it's exquisite. So this is a free pattern on Ravelry. This is Brioche Arrows by, I'm not going to say this correctly, Schneckenstrick. We're going to say Schneckenstrick, but I don't know if that's correct. So I'm sorry if you are watching and I'm not saying your name correctly. But this is Brioche Arrows. I am modifying it just a little bit. But there's one picture of it in particular I want to show you. I think it's this one. Oh, it's just so beautiful. Okay, so oh, look at that. It's glorious. So pretty. I've never done brioche increasing, so this is a really, really good pattern for learning how to increase in brioche. I have found it to be extremely easy to read. This is a very well written pattern, and I just am so grateful to her that it's a free pattern. It should probably be paid for. It's a really well written pattern. But in any case, maybe she's just, you know, a brioche wizard and this took her like 30 minutes to do. I don't know, to write as a pattern. But this is written for fingering weight yarn, and the needles that she's using are US 6, so 4mm needle. So as far as like a, you know, a fingering weight brioche shawl, like this doesn't take for forever to knit up. It's a size 6 needle. She uses 3 different colors, and it's a 2-color brioche design. So each of her, you know, 3 colors does kind of like blend. So she's got like colors 1 and color 2, color 2, color 3, color 1, color 3. And then 1 different contrast color if you like, for the edge. I just adore this so much. So what I'm doing, of course I had to make this complicated. My one like true modification is not overly complicated. I just sized down my needle. I am using a US 5 needle because I don't really love being able to see a whole lot of the fish boning in brioche. So I'll show you on this side. So being able to see all of the like lines in between here, I don't love that. I didn't want it to be super airy and open. You can see it on this side too a little. I just wanted it to be a little bit denser. So that's why I sized down. I also sized down for density because I am not using 2 fingering weight yarns. I'm using a fingering weight and a lace weight. So I didn't want that lace weight to be too airy. I wanted some good density where you got some good fuzz in between. And I think with this US 5, I think that I got just the density I want. And once this is blocked and is opened up, I think I will continue to have a nice density in between there. It won't be so open and airy that you lose anything. And even on the wrong side, I think that's nice. So the yarn that I'm using is a fingering weight single ply by the Wandering Flock. This is the Montauk. I think I'm saying that correctly. The Montauk colorway. It's a very neutral kind of dune kind of base, but with lots of neutral speckles that are mauve. It's got some golden speckles in there, a few like really deep indigo speckles, and then some just like very subtle variegations. It's more tonal. No, it's a variegation of like different shades of mauve. So this is just a gorgeous neutral. I kind of want to do a whole sweater in this, not the fingering weight, because I am not a fast knitter. I'm not the slowest knitter in the world. I'd say like average speed, but I'm not a fast knitter, so I'm not doing a fingering weight sweater. This and like a DK or a worsted, I think would be like a dream sweater. So I've got this with this just dream of a Suri silk. It's a beautiful, just gorgeous sky blue with these beautiful golden speckles. Absolutely gorgeous. And it has like a tiny bit of tonality of like a minty green in there too. I don't know if that shows up on camera very well. I don't know if that's because of the gold mixing with the blue and it creates this like little minty green in some spaces, but this is just absolutely gorgeous. And with the silk core, beautiful. This I also got from a D-stash, so I'm so sorry I don't have the information on this. The other Suri that I'm using was also from a D-stash, and this is a beautiful like kind of spearmint green with those golden speckles. So yeah, these are my 3 yarns for this. I adore them. I think they're utterly gorgeous. And because of the way that I'm doing the brioche, I always want to have the Suri as color 2 so that my like fingering weight sits on top. So trying to think of the way to communicate this coherently. So as I was knitting this, I was thinking like, how am I going to do that middle section where I'm using these 2 colors? They're both really fuzzy. So which one, how am I going to get good definition? I'll just cut to the chase. I'm not going to go through my whole entire thought process because that would take way too long. And what I decided to do was I decided to find 2 fingering weight yarns that were the same color as these that I could also use so that I could have a fingering weight laying on top of a Suri. So I've got a nice fuzzy background and then my like brioche like ribs sitting on top are in fingering weight. So I didn't have anything in stash. I tried really hard to find something in stash that would work, and I just don't have anything that would work. So my local yarn shop did have a couple of yarns that were perfect. I was so happy to find these. So the first one is by Gusto Wool. This Gusto Core hand-dyed sock yarn. This is a 80% merino wool, 20% nylon. It's 435 yards per 100 grams. Color is 1011. And this is just a sock yarn, and look at the color match. It's not absolutely perfect, but it is really darn close. So that laying on top of this is gonna give me the look that I'm going for. And then I found a Malabrigo. This is Malabrigo sock, and the color is water green. It is 100% superwash merino wool, 440 yards in 100 grams, and that is a pretty darn close match to my Suri. So I think that laying on top of this is going to work beautifully. These 2 colors are so close together. I did not want to do 2 color brioche with them together because they're so fuzzy and they're so close that I just didn't think there was going to be any definition at all. So I grabbed some fingering weights to go with them. It'll still be I think it'll still be a pretty subtle low contrast 2 color brioche, but I think it'll be really beautiful. And instead of doing those 3 sections, I'm kind of doing 4 sections. So after I'm done with this section, I'm going to switch to this being my background color with this on top, and then I will switch to this being my background with this on top, and then my 4th section will be this is my background color with this on top. And then who knows what I'm going to do for the edge. I might do a contrast color, or if I have enough to bind off with this, then I might do my bind off with this. We'll see. But there will not be a section where this is my background, which, is not really true to the spirit of the pattern entirely, but I think it'll be fine. I think it'll make a beautiful, beautiful shawl, and I'm not really worried about it. So I'll put these guys back. That is my final, or my second and my final work in progress. Again, it's more of a long-term project because brioche does take a while to knit. But that's okay. I really love the process of brioche, and I love those yarns, so I'm enjoying the whole thing. I'll share with you very quickly some handspun. I guess this could have gone in finished objects, but I just now saw it next to me. So this is some handspun that I finished recently. I don't have the colorway name, but this was dyed by Nanette Wake's Studio. I bought the fiber well over a year ago, so I don't remember the colorway name. But I spun it up in November or December, and it it was really fun to spin up. It is a superwash merino wool, and I got about, I'd say this is an Aran weight yarn. It's kind of like a worsted kind of spun yarn, so it's pretty fluffy, very soft, very lofty. So I'm happy with this. Yeah, this is about what my hand spun looks like. I do spin a couple different styles, but this is my favorite. It's like it's a chain ply. It's kind of like a worsted lofty kind of spin, and it just creates an incredibly light, soft yarn. This is my favorite way to spin my yarns. So if you're curious about what my hand spun looks like, this is typically what I kind of do. Right now I'm working on a 2-ply that I will ply this evening. I've just got the singles resting right now. But beautiful. That the fibers by Wound Up Fiber Arts, and it's a light colorway. It's got a lot of white in it. Yeah, and I think that's going to go into my inventory because it's not a colorway that I'm going to be using for myself, I think, but it's fun to play with. So I do sell my hand spun. I don't have an Etsy shop or anything. It's at the moment I'm just doing like kind of local like craft markets and things. But yeah, I've got a 2-ply I'm working on right now. So my last project I'll share with you guys is an upcoming project. I will be finishing this sweater probably this week, since I did all of that in 1 week. So I anticipate I'll have the sleeves done this week. So my next project, let's see, is going to be based on the Pantone color of the year, which if you've been watching knitting podcasts or crocheting podcasts, you probably have seen what the color of the year is this year, and the Pantone color of the year is Peach Fuzz. I love peach, so I am very happy to knit something or crochet something in the color of the year. I've already got my project and my yarn ready to go. I do have to wind up one ball, but that's all right. I'll show it to you in the skein. So the project I'm going to be doing is a Tiff Neilan pattern. It is a break and tied cowl. So it is this cowl. It's fairly oversized kind of cowl, in DK weight yarn, and it's got lots of texture. It's got a fisherman's rib, which I do enjoy because I love brioche. So I imagine that actually I have knit fisherman's rib too, and I did enjoy it. So she's done a 2-color cowl here, but I am going to be doing a 1-color cowl, which I'll show this to you one more time so you can kind of reference. I did see this done in 1 color in a couple of project pages, and it's beautiful. All the textures show up really lovely in 1 color. So I think this will be great, and the yarns I'm going to be using for it are peachy yarns. Again, I love peach, so Pink Fuzz being the Pantone color of the year works great for me. I hand wound this ball while I was on a phone call. Usually I would use my ball winder, but yeah, I was on a phone call and I needed something to do with my hands and I didn't have any knitting, so I was like, I'll just hand wind a ball of yarn. I haven't done that in a while. This is by Rain's Obsessive Stitchery. It is 70% superwash merino, 30% silk, and it's 438 yards and 100 grams. This is her Felix sock base, and the colorway is Florence. She said it's a Felix sock base, but it is a single ply, and there's 30% silk in it. So, I mean, I wouldn't knit socks out of this, but I don't know, maybe someone would. So beautiful peach color, and I am holding it double with this beauty. This is Stitch Stuff yarn. The colorway is Groovy, and it is a lace weight, 74% Suri alpaca and 26% mulberry silk. It's 328 yards and 50 grams. And I just think this is so gorgeous. I got both of these yarns at a fiber festival last year. So I think that these two held together are just going to make a really, really beautiful cowl with all of those textured stitches, and it'll be fluffy and cozy and so happy. And I'll probably, I have more yardage in this than I have in this. So I think if I do the tassel, I'll just do the tassel in this because there's that little tassel like right on the end of the cowl. So I might do a little peach cat tassel. So this is going to be on the needles soon. I'm really excited about this. And having like a fluffy cowl would be really nice because it is kind of cold. It's probably not going to be this cold for the rest of the winter, but it's pretty cold right now. And I have a brioche cowl and I have like a DK weight stranded colorwork cowl. So those two are fairly warm, but I think that it'd be really nice to have like a fluffy Suri, little bit oversized cowl as well. Especially that bandana style because it comes down a little bit more. So it's not just keeping my neck warm, but it's keeping like my chest a little bit more warm too. Those are all the things I have to share with you guys today. I feel like that was a lot of things. I am going to attempt to start podcasting again every 2 weeks, not every 2 months. So I will probably have a little less to share with you guys for the episodes coming up because I won't have so much accumulated in between them. But thank you guys for being here with me today. I'm also hoping to do more non-podcast videos, so that'll cover a bunch of content too. So an hour and a half is pretty long for a podcast episode. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Hopefully the other episodes will be closer to that hour, 45-minute or hour mark, because I think that's a good sweet spot, especially for me since I don't have a co-host. That's a lot of talking from me for a long time. So I think that I have caught you guys up on life things. I will go ahead and let you go for today since it has been a little bit of a longer episode. Again, thank you for hanging out with me. I'm really glad to be back. I'm feeling so much better than I was last year. So I'm very hopeful for bringing a lot of fun content to you guys this year. And I hope that you're having a good time crafting. Let me know if you want to test knit the hat. And I feel like I had another question for you guys, but I don't remember what it was. So if you could just comment below what you're working on this winter, what's bringing you joy, what's bringing you coziness, then I would love to hear that. I always love to hear from you guys just in general. So any comments you guys ever want to leave, I always appreciate them. If you've got any suggestions for content that you want to see on the channel this year, then let me know. Because that could give me some fun ideas. I've got some ideas again for like spinning, dyeing, maybe designing, yarn shops, craft markets, vlogs, that kind of stuff. But if there's anything that you guys would like for me to make videos on, if you have things that you just have like a burning desire for, I would love to hear that, any suggestions that you have. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy crafting, and I will see you next time. Bye.